The National Security Council of Korea is debating over the hostage-taking that has taken place. Everything is complicated by the department head's intention to run for president. His assistant Jung Won suggests not giving in to terrorist provocations, which causes indignation among those present. However, the candidate approves of his actions and gives him a bonus, knowing that the man is raising his daughter alone. Later, Jung Won and Kyung pack their things and go to the airport, stopping at a gas station. The gas station attendant refuses to take the card and demands cash. As a result, he leaves without paying for the gas. At this time, at the airport, athlete Yura and her manager Miran argue over a passport that was not renewed on time. Meanwhile, a thick fog descends on the area. Yura and Miran notice that visibility has dropped significantly. Everyone tries to drive slower. However, there is a speeder. The driver of a heavy truck, unable to stop his car, crashes into it and a chain accident begins. As a result, one side of the bridge is blocked by a huge number of broken cars. Meanwhile, the owner of the gas station, having learned about the impudent driver, scolds the gas station attendant and he goes to look for the debtor. Jung Won also gets into an accident near a military van. He calls his superior because this is a large-scale emergency and he must take action. The military tries to call the driver of the second van, who went ahead, but no one answers. The men run along the bridge and soon catch up with the car, but the doors are open and there is no one inside. The commander orders to jam the cell phone connection on the bridge, and many stuck people are left without it. Jung Won notices that his daughter has disappeared somewhere and rushes to look for her. And Kyung just saw a dog nearby, banging its head on the bridge railing. The girl wants to feed it and comes so close that she reads the name on the collar, E9. Here she is found by her father, who warns the girl because the dog can be dangerous. Meanwhile, many passengers see dogs, and although they are still calm, the dogs look quite ominous. The military reports the escape of the first group to Dr. Yang, who is also stuck in the column. They ask to block the system, and he opens his laptop, which is noticed by Jung Won, who is standing nearby. He demands to explain what is happening, but he is told that a helicopter will arrive soon and everything will be resolved. But the man demands to name his branch of the military and immediately turn off the jammer, but he is simply captured. Meanwhile, the gas station attendant reaches the scene of the accident, where people ask him to start clearing the way, and Jung Won threatens Yang, demanding that he let him go. However, the scientist is not afraid, because according to him, if everything goes wrong, they will all be destroyed. He turns on the system and orders the operation to begin. The dogs, having sensed the code, begin to run to the van, but one of the dogs stops for some reason, which puzzles Yang. He realizes that E9 is uncontrollable, and although the rest of the pack is already in the van, this dog is dangerous. Then a helicopter hovers over the bridge and lowers the cage onto the van. Several soldiers rush to secure it. The gas station attendant's dog Judy runs away, and he runs after her. Jung Won gets an answer from Yang, who advises asking the boss. Judy turns up nearby. Yang orders the dog to be removed, and Min runs after him. The father tries to keep the soldiers away from his daughter, and the gas station attendant recognizes the debtor and demands the money back. Yang orders them to fly away, leaving €9 in his care. The helicopter begins to lift the cage when one of the soldiers finds the control chip that E9 has dropped. The dog immediately bursts into the helicopter's cabin and destroys the pilot. The helicopter skids, the cage opens, and falls onto the bridge, releasing the pack. The people watch the crash, and the helicopter cuts the bridge's suspension supports. Yang's laptop signals that the dogs are out of control, and Jung Won sees the number of individuals as 116. A minute later, the doors of the van swing open. The dogs jump out and attack people. One of them attacks Yang, but Jung Won manages to protect him, after which he runs after his daughter. Yura and Miran are nearby, who have not yet understood what is happening. Jung Won orders everyone to run. Panic begins. Everyone runs, but a pile of wrecked cars prevents them from doing so. Yura arms himself with a golf club and fights off one of the attacks, but many become victims of the animals. The gas station attendant, having caught his Judy, tries to hide in the car, but the dog is already sitting there, and the man runs on. Jung Won and his daughter jump into the car. The man turns on the engine and is ready to leave, but she notices the gas station attendant and demands that he help the man. Jung Won opens the trunk. He jumps in and the driver steps on the gas. Meanwhile, Yura and Miran reach the bus where the elderly couple is sitting and run inside. Right in front of Jung Won's car, a fire suddenly breaks out, quickly engulfing the nearest car and making it impossible to leave the bridge. A dog jumps onto the windshield. Meanwhile, Jung Won's boss starts looking for ways to solve the problem. The helicopter can't fly, and the ships can't help either, since the bridge is much higher than sea level. And the journalists demand an answer from the presidential candidate, but he keeps silent about the problem. Jung Won brings Yang to consciousness, and he admits that he was developing rescue dogs, but the military decided that they needed exterminator dogs more. The presidential candidate is just informed that the military tried to adapt dogs to fight terrorists, but the project was shut down. The samples were supposed to be destroyed, but now they have escaped. Jung Won calls his boss again, and this time the connection is established. The man orders his assistant to leave the bridge because gas will be used to kill the dogs. He has also just learned about the project and orders Jung Won not to tell anyone because the project has been approved by security. At that moment, an explosion occurs and gas begins to spread across the bridge. Jung Won orders his daughter to breathe through a rag and run after him to the bus. The man asks his boss to send rescuers to the bridge because the bridge's suspension supports are giving way. By that time, the people have managed to get on the bus, and the driver immediately drives away from the fire. But then the bridge itself begins to collapse, trapping the bus. Jung Won explains to the people that the dog's behavior is rabies, which they do not believe because at first the dogs behaved normally. Suddenly, a gas station attendant comes to the rescue and explains that rabies does not manifest itself immediately, which calms the people down. Jung Won promises to arrange for him to receive a reward if he keeps quiet about everything that happened when they get out. Soon, special forces break through to the bus and say that no dogs were found. They ask the people to follow them, but Jung Won suddenly stops the passengers and contacts the authorities. He promises protection, and the people agree to get off the bus. However, Yang asks to leave him there because the dogs simply hid. Jung Won pulls him out because he is an important witness. The people are heading toward the city when the doctor asks to help him find a laptop. Suddenly, the horns of the cars start to go off. This has a frightening effect on everyone, and the rescuers are distracted by checking the cars and are attacked by dogs. In a matter of minutes, many are destroyed, and Jung Won barely manages to take his daughter away. The head of security receives a message that contact with the special forces has been lost. Meanwhile, Jung Won hides the girl in the bus and returns for the lost radio. The scene of the tragedy is already empty, and the man finds the lost book written by her mother. And the girl is just reviewing the last footage with her mother from the hospital and hears the voice of Yang, who also reached the bus. At this time, Jung Won finds several survivors hiding in a small van and suggests thinking about how to get out. Yang convinces the girl that it is impossible to deceive the dogs. They were cloned from E9, and to make her cruel, the puppies were destroyed in front of her. So now she is taking revenge on people. At this time, the survivors make torches and go to the bus. The boss advises which way to go to be guaranteed salvation. Jung Won asks to prepare snipers who will shoot the dogs. The boss understands that the project cannot be silenced. Ken Min sees the torches and wants to open the bus doors, but Yang does not allow him to do this. Seeing that the torches are burning out, the dogs attack. Then the gas station attendant puts on a fire show using alcohol, and Jung Won shoots a flare gun. The animals run away when Kyung Min opens the doors, and everyone rushes into the bus. 5 survivors approach the edge of the bridge, but there are no rescuers or snipers in sight. Jung Won realizes that his boss has betrayed him, and Yang confirms that the project was approved by him. Then the man turns on the radio and tells the boss that now he knows everything. The bridge is about to collapse, but he will still try to save himself, for which he will lead the people towards Seoul, where, according to the boss, there are gas tanks. Then the people see that the last one before the traffic jam is a tow truck from the gas station, but the keys are still in the bus. And next to it is a cage van where the dogs were transported. Yang realizes that he dropped the laptop somewhere here, and soon the gadget is found, and the scientist gets down to business. Jung Won goes to the van and asks his daughter for her mother's book to read aloud, enticing the dogs. Yura takes a hockey stick. Yang turns on the horn, and Yura smashes the windshield of the bus with marbles, where the dogs are locked. They rush at the call and jump near the van, while the gas station attendant hurries to the bus. But E9 is already waiting for him inside. The guy manages to run away, but the dog rushes after him. However, upon seeing Yang, the dog overtakes the gas station attendant and attacks the scientist. Then another part of the bridge collapses, taking the cage with the dogs with it, but the van clings to the edge. The gas station attendant starts the tow truck and drives to the van, but Jung Won orders people over the radio to save themselves. However, Kyung Min disobeys his order and drags the rope to the van, despite the fact that E9 is standing between them. The bridge shakes, the dog falls down, the girl is covered by the wrecked car, and the van hangs on the very edge. Jung Won tries to get out when she sees his daughter, who still managed to hook the van with a tow truck hook. The gas station attendant pulls him up and rushes toward the city when the bridge finally collapses. The survivors are met by a crowd led by the boss. He applauds when he sees Jung Won, but the man hits him in the face and returns the money he received from him, and then announces to the people that everything that happened is recorded on his watch. Kyung is also ready to testify. The candidate leaves, trying to hide, and Kyung Min says that he will not go to study abroad. The airwaves are torn apart by news about dogs that have become victims of experiments, and a living E9 comes ashore, having saved one of her puppies.